Hi, this is Freya with another edition of How to Sing That Song. As I promised last week, this time I have a guy's song, which is in the original by Maroon 5, and I think it's an awesome song. She Will Be Loved. Now, in the original, the singer has a very high and bright and light voice. Whatever kind of voice you have, you could still sing this song. I'm going to do it in the original key, which for a guy is kind of high, but which means also the girls can sing it. But what I want to do is just basically show you some technical aspects that could help you sing this song in your own way. So first of all, of course, there are some really high notes, and we're going to talk about falsetto and head voice. And then there are just some little things that we're going to talk about as we go through. So let's start. Beauty queen of only 18, she had some trouble with herself. He was always there to help her. She always belonged to someone else. So what you should do here is not have too much dynamic differences. So it should be pretty much kind of one volume and not have too much high and low stuff going on, which means not too low, not too loud or too soft at any point. You're just kind of pretty much making a very smooth line here. Now, in the original, the guy sounds like it's a very high voice. But don't worry here yet about singing falsetto or anything like that. Just sing it in a normal voice. It will go higher later, so save it for there. What's really important here is really just have that groove, that feel that pulse. And that's what's really important here. So now let's go on. It goes like, I drove for miles and miles and wound up at your door. So what he does here, the first time around, he just does a very, very short pitch right before he goes to the actual pitch. He just kind of holds the top pitch and slides down. It goes like, let me do it in slow motion. I drove for miles and miles and wound up at your door. So it's miles and miles and wound up at. Now the next time he does it, he actually does it a little bit bigger. The note that comes before the actual note, that's actually kind of high, is much longer. I've had you so many times, but somehow I want more. So the second time around, it's more accented. The first time around, the actual lower note is accented. Miles and miles and wound up. And now it's so many times, so many times. It's really important to bend those notes here and not go so many times. Don't treat those two pitches equally. Just go like so many times. It's kind of like you're just kind of whining, and it's like, So the accent is definitely in the beginning here on the second time around. And the first time around, it's miles and miles and miles. It's kind of like miles, miles, miles. It just kind of goes down very quickly and it flips. And then it goes on. I don't mind spending every day out on the corner in the pouring rain. Look for the girl with a broken smile. Ask her if she wants to stay a while. And then comes the chorus. Now, up until here, there's actually pretty much no vibrato. It's very devoid of too much going on in here. which that's just the style that it's in. Now, as we go on into the chorus now, depending on how you want to do it, how good you are, if you do it in a falsetto, the high note, it's kind of more breathy. You could do that. Or you can do it in a head voice, which will result in a much more concentrated sound. Let me do it in falsetto first. Also, you shouldn't breathe within the phrase. And she will be loved, and she will be loved. Now, let me do it more in a head voice. This was a little bit more breathy now. Let's do it more in a non-breathy head voice. And she will be loved, and she will be loved. Depending on how you want to do it, it's both possible, depending on the way you want to sound, or also depending on your strengths in your voice. Now, what's really important is that they take a deep breath and have good support. And she will be loved, and she will be loved. Don't breathe within the phrase. It kind of distracts if you do. And she will be loved, and she will be loved. Now also notice that there should actually really be a change of sound, like she will be loved. It kind of goes over your break, which is totally okay. And I think it's kind of a cool sound if you actually make the break a little bit audible. And she will be loved, and she will be loved. Also notice I kind of slide down. I don't go, and she will be loved, and she will be loved. I kind of go down first. You could do it or not do it. Just whatever you want to do is fine. Just be aware of what you do. Don't, the thing I always tell my student is like, you could do anything you want to do. Just don't let it be the absolute habit that you could never ever get rid of and always do the same thing all the time to where it becomes a distraction to the listener. So just whatever you want to do, just try to be aware that you do it. And I always also say you have to be able to operate the buttons. So you got to be able to turn something on or off, switch it on or off, whether you want to do it or not, like sliding down or not sliding down. You should be able to do it both. Now, also in this song, it's not sung with a very, very strong voice. It kind of floats along. It floats along, but at the same time, it's not without energy. There's a lot of intensity in it. And it's more like the guy is telling a story. If you've ever watched the video, I mean, it's about this girl that is together with this really terrible guy. He treats her awfully, like he slaps her around and stuff like that. And then there's this guy, the one who's singing this song about her, who actually really cares about her, and he's kind of telling the story. So it's not packed with these huge outbursts of emotionalness, but it's kind of like telling the story and flowing along here. And don't worry about sounding like the original singer. If you have a voice that sounds similar, that's fine. But if you have a totally different color of voice, just sing it in your voice. The most important thing is just to tell that story. You know, like, let's do the second verse. Tap on my window, knock on my door. I want to make you feel beautiful. I know I tend to get so insecure. Doesn't matter anymore. And so on and so on. Just tell the story. Tell the story. It's kind of like you're in your thoughts. You're picturing the girl, and you're trying to tell her, you don't have to do this. You're worth so much more than having to deal with this guy who treats you so terribly. You can get out of this, and there's actually someone who really cares about you. So what do you want? Now let's go from the second chorus into the bridge. And she will be loved, and she will be loved. I know where you hide, alone in your car. Know all of the things that make you who you are. Let's go on to there. now the intensity goes up a little bit, but it doesn't go overboard. It's just in your breath. And we've talked about this many times. It's just like between the phrases, the breath keeps on flowing. I know where you hide, alone in your car. Know all of the things that make you who you are. Just stay high in intensity. And also, maybe this is a little bit more chesty here. It's a little bit more intense. So be supported and go up in intensity. Let's try it again. I know where you hide, alone in your car. See, it's like, I know where you hide, alone in your car. Know all of the things that make you who you are. I know that goodbye means nothing at all. But now comes the high part. Comes back and begs me, catch her every time she, another long one, falls, yeah. And now the thing about any yeah, oh, ooh in any song, don't just do it because the original singer does it. Give it a meaning. It comes across so much better if you don't just go like, yeah, it's so technical. But it's got like, catch her every time she falls, yeah. Tap on my window, knock on my door, right? And so on and so on. Just give it a meaning. Don't ever go like, ooh, yeah, whatever, ad-libbing without having a meaning for those things that you do. So, and then it goes on, and the end is kind of like, what you could do is like in the original, of course, it's more than one person. There's a group and there's backing vocals. If you do this live in an unplugged setting, you kind of have to decide what you do. You could do like just this, what you can hear in the song. Please don't try so hard to say goodbye. And it's like, okay, you could do this, or you could just kind of improvise. Please don't try so hard to say goodbye, kind of in the character of the rest of the song. Or you can just kind of take turns and do those. Don't try so hard to say goodbye, goodbye. And however you want to end it, it's kind of like an open end, and I think it's awesome. Like whenever you're doing it just unplugged with piano or guitar, you could really do your thing here. And depending on how high or low you want to sing it, I would recommend then sing it in a very, very comfortable place right here. Please don't try so hard to say goodbye. Don't try so hard to say goodbye. And so on and so on. So this song is not one that's really packed with dramatic moments or anything like that. But the most important thing here is really to have this very clear, very clean sound. Don't go all over the place. Also, control your vibrato. Don't have this huge vibrato all over the place. It just doesn't fit to this style. Also, be kind of light. Don't be extremely loud, and don't kind of like belt it out very loudly or in a very dark color. Just be in a very natural storytelling kind of color, as if you were just telling a story like, you know, there's this girl. It's kind of like a mix between being very sad but also hopeful, and also kind of remembering things, and also at the same time looking into the future and wishing for something. So it's not all bad and it's not all good. It's kind of like that's the way it is right now, but it might be different in the future. So, and that's an aspect that I always tell my students is so important. Just don't do the technical things, because technical is very important. But you would be amazed what happens to your voice whenever you do try to interpret the song to really be in the spirit of the song. It really does something to your voice whenever you give it meaning, or it has a meaning to you. There's so much that happens in your voice. It's so much more than I could explain with a million technical things, and it sounds so much more natural. So I hope I could help you a little bit with this song. Let me know what other songs you would like me to do, or what styles. I was thinking about doing something musical theater. Somebody asked about something rock. Whatever you would like me to do, let me know. Don't forget to check back on Friday for my technical singing tips. And if you have not already, of course, subscribe to my channel, because there's a lot of singing tips coming your way. And hope you have a wonderful day. Always keep a song in your heart, and always keep singing, because it's really good for you. Bye.